And I walked straight out into the lounge room in front of all my family and started doing the hula and felt so big and proud and strong. And basically I didn't take it off. In the late 60s and early 70s, Inala was very west, very isolated. It was an all-black government housing place. The only entertainment that any of us as children had was the swimming pool and the skating rink, but you could only attend those if you had money. The common saying was, who's your mob, or where you from, or those sorts of things, and I couldn't answer those questions if I was asked. Basically, both my parents were stolen generation. My mother was brought up in an orphanage and then a very strict household, so we used to have our hair done properly and shoes and socks on and neatly dressed before we even left the house. People at school would call me coconut. I was dark on the outside but white on the inside, and I ended up taking my hair out and letting it be fuzzy and taking my shoes and socks off so I looked like everybody else. But I didn't feel like I fit anywhere, so I was always searching for something. There were all these movies with Hawaii as the backdrop, and I started to identify with that because I had the wiry hair, and I was then and still now an artist, so for me it was visually really attractive, and I started to connect with those women and wished that I could be seen as that sort of a Indigenous person. My stepfather was going to Hawaii for work, and he came round and asked each one of us what we wanted for a gift, but I wanted a Hawaiian skirt. What I had started doing was mocking up really being the little Hawaiian girl. So when my stepfather returned and he brought me back an original Hawaiian skirt, I started telling the people my actual family were my adopted family and that my mother was my auntie and I was actually Hawaiian and I would just be in my own little world. No one else had an original grass skirt. No one else had the wiry hair that they used to point out constantly. And no one could do the hula like I could. I won every art competition every year I was at primary school. It was a strange era for me because I had that grass skirt and all of a sudden had this visual identity that I could comfortably and happily fit in. That is something that is held through to this day in everything that I do now. I identify as Aboriginal and I'm proud of that, but it's okay to be unique within that. Now, if I do see one of the old Hawaiian movies, all I want to do is grab a doona and lay on the lounge and be that little kid and eat my cookies. And when I see the grass skirts, the traditional ones, I personally feel beautiful because that's how I felt when I wore it when I was a child.